Welcome to another video by Dodge Neon Racing. Today's video is basically the proper way to drive an automatic. Each automatic vehicle is set up differently, but the first thing you want to do is put your key in the ignition and turn it to the on position. Wait for all your dash lights to go out, then you can start your vehicle. Once you start your vehicle, let it idle for a few minutes, and a lot of times in some vehicles you hear a ding, and that means the car is telling you that it is ready. But if it is cold outside, you're definitely going to want to let your car warm up a little bit out of the cold lines there. That way, when you're driving the car, your car will run smoother and less rough, and also will give the miles that the car can get a whole lot higher and not a lot of costly repairs from abuse to the engine. The next thing you're going to want to do is grab your gear shifter, automatic, whichever way. Some have push buttons on the side, some have them on the front, some have them on the top. But you're going to apply your brake first, and if you want to back up because you're pulled into a parking space, then you're going to want to put it in first, wait for it to connect in the gear, which is roughly about a second to 2 seconds. Then once it's in gear, release the brake and slowly press on the gas and back out. You can give it a little gas, not too much, not a lot, you just need a little. Then come to a complete stop and put it in the drive. Now once you're in the drive, you can go forward. And another factor, folks, use your blinkers. And when you come up to an intersection, always look before you pull out. As you can see, I got cars coming. I could have pulled out in front of them, but you never know what your car is going to do, because even automatics can stall out. Then you'll take off. And automatics shift on their own. You don't have to do any kind of shifting whatsoever. It's different from a manual. You can call automatic lazy driving because there's not much work at all. When you drive a manual, there's a whole lot much more work. There's clutch play, there's shifting, there's downshifting, there's upshifting, there's rev matching. There's so much to it, but in an automatic, you don't have to do that. Now, oh, they just definitely ran a red light because it was yellow when I went through. Now, some vehicles are set up with an RPM. Now, you can learn your automatic transmission gear ratio and RPMs by watching your tachometer. And you can downshift in an automatic, which you definitely want to have a tach when you do this, because if you do it at the wrong RPMs, you can definitely mess up your automatic transmission. Now, you can start in what they would call first gear, which my shifting is about 2.5, 3 in the second. The only difference is there's no clutch, but you can still mimic a manual and an automatic if your car is set up for that. Some are not. Now, at 35, I'm about 2,500 RPMs, slowing down, and you can downshift, which in this car would be about 1.5 safely. To downshift, and you come to a complete stop. And you can kind of do this, especially if you're thinking about driving a manual, to kind of like get used to RPMs in the vehicle. Now when you take off, you always want to take off at a steady acceleration with putting not a lot of gas on the gas pedal, but you just press it. You don't have to floor it, and you definitely want to keep distance between the cars, which this is pretty good safe distance, because you never know what someone in front of you is going to do. And when you downshift, like I just did from second into first, that's called engine braking, which also helps the vehicle slow down. Engine braking is good for hills, or if you have to come to a stop faster for a certain reason. Hitting your brakes and also downshifting in your automatic, if your automatic comes equipped with being able to shift through its gears, then that is definitely a plus. Preferences between a manual and an automatic is for each and every one. Through that area because there's so many turns and turns off. Now this is a red light here. Go ahead and downshift again. Now learn your gear, your shift patterns here. Your park, your reverse, your neutral, your drive, your second, your first. This console actually came out of a Neon that had four speed automatic. This Neon's actually 3-speed. The old one was 1-2 drive. So if that was confusing any of you when I was talking. Now, once you get going, you can stay in the first, which will give you a boost, most definitely will, but second gear is about the same, and now I'm into third gear, and I'm on drive. That in itself is how you operate, and you can do it smoothly. You see, I'm stopping, and I'm also downshifting in an automatic, which can be done. And if you're having issues with your automatic, especially in drive, you can do symptom checks by doing a manual shift through the ones. Like your shifter may have 1, 2, 3 drive, or it may have 1, 2 drive. You also have, some vehicles have drive 1D with a circle around it. That's being overdrive. This one has a 3-speed automatic overdrive. So, all in all, driving an automatic vehicle is simple, it's easy, and it's less work because you don't have to worry about pressing in a clutch, letting it out at just the right moment as you give the car gas and putting it in gear. In an automatic, you can start it right up, put it in the reverse, back up, put it in the drive, and go. The only difference, I would say, between a manual and an automatic, service-wise, is that automatic transmissions tend to not last as long as a manual transmission, because when you start getting issues with an automatic, you don't have a clutch to replace because your clutch is wore out. Pretty much in most manuals, if you've treated them respectfully, your clutch will wear out way before your transmission will go out. So I want to thank you all for watching. Any comments, questions, leave them down below. Give it a thumbs up and subscribe. Thank you all again, and have a great day.